Everest.
You fools.
So Mount Everest, that's Mount Everest you explore, right?
Guys, hold on, back up. Like, you're arguing something stupid, because I totally agree where it is fucking weird how they... Yes and no that they kind of restrict you from going down there. Yes, they do, because, for one, the health, safety, equipment, machinery, whatever the fuck you want to bring down there. Two, no, because, like, you can go down there. You can. You got to get the permits and everything else, but at the same time, like, they don't allow you to freely range wherever you want to fucking go. And I, in one hand, believe
that's
that,
not
yeah,
true.
well, it kind of is. There's some
just done it.
truth
Just like,
behind
last
something
year.
being down there. There's something down there,
Yeah,
and I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't know what they're hiding, but, like, it's...
Okay, what degree of latitude and longitude are you not allowed to go to down there with when you get permission?
I'm going to take a wild guess and say, hey, that looks like a wide open fucking field. Don't go that way because there's nothing there. You'll probably die.
Do they say that?
Will probably
Is there
kill
any
you.
restriction on a geographic area that you're not allowed to explore in Antarctica?
Oh, no, sorry. I live in Canada. I fully understand a wide open field, and you should not fucking go in that fucking wide open field.
What area
Go
do they
to
the size of the
Canada
United States
during winter, where it's not even as cold as Antarctica, and fucking walk through an open field. And I'll guarantee you, 200 feet in, you're fucking turning around, no matter what machine, equipment, anything you're in. You're turning around. Why? Because it's dumb as fuck. It's a suicide mission. You're fucking kamikazing that bitch. Like, straight up. So Antarctica, yeah, like, there's reasons why, but I also believe they're hiding. They're hiding something down there. You got
and
a lot of weird shit down there. Sorry?
What coordinates? Tell me one place that is off limits to exploration in Antarctica.
Well, for one,
there has to be a place.
Hold on. Don't they have that ice motel down there? Hold on. Don't they have that ice motel down there? Didn't it hit the Guinness Book of World Records for that underground ice hotel?
No, God, no.
Cool. What location in Antarctica are you not allowed to visit with permission?
I don't fucking know. Some wide open field, I'm guessing. I don't fucking know. I'm driving.
You know what
What makes you say
is?
that? And what makes you say it exists?
More like what places can you go?
A whole bunch of people
The
being
only places you can go are the
latitude,
punch-hole freaking tourist
Go anywhere you want.
stations.
If you're
And
smart,
like the symbolic South Pole, because we know there isn't a geographic one. Those like the places if you work at them. That's basically it.
See, like you got more, instead of claiming flat Earth, you got more ground if you were to claim a hollow Earth, and you can't go to Antarctica because the fucking holes down there or some shit. But flat Earth ain't no thing. Okay? You have more validity. You got more fucking foundation if you claim a hollow Earth than if you were to claim a flat Earth. All you flat Earthers should just jump ship to hollow Earth. Straight up, you got more ground.
So you think that there's a place that you can't go in Antarctica? It's completely off limits.
Probably.
Do you have any evidence of that?
You can look out from big old blank squares. It doesn't matter.
Which is
I don't know.
If
If I set up a few $100 million worth of equipment down there, I don't want some fucking Joe Blow going in there not knowing what the fuck he's gonna do.
Do you know what that is like?
If I were to invest $100 million in a fucking area, in a building, with technology for whatever, why the fuck would I allow any Joe Schmo to suicide mission down there? Because you got to come back, right? Why would I let any Joe Schmo?
It's only people who can it's only people who have the means to do it. So if you have the means to do it, go ahead. You can go anywhere you want. That's my contention.
If you want to sail down there,
I follow the guy on TikTok who is in Antarctica. He works down there, and he's also a free traveler down there. And he also shows, like, I just seen the video where it was minus 67 to minus 70 degrees Celsius.
So there is a star. I mean, the sun stays up for days, right?
Sorry,
You have a friend down there, right? He's been there for a while. So he would go.
I got a friend down there. I'm following this guy on TikTok who shows a lot of shit about the South Pole.
Does he show the what's the midnight sun?
He showed the 6 to 7 months of no sunlight. Yeah, He showed the other time of the sunlight. He also showed the minus 70 degrees Celsius. That's pretty common out there. That's what I mean. You try fucking breathing in minus 7 degrees Celsius. Up here in fucking where I am, we've dealt with minus 60 degrees Celsius. And I'll tell you one thing, ain't fucking nobody going outside. Ain't no fucking machine going outside.
Yeah, it's cold as fuck.
Why is it so vastly colder than the north?
16 Manitoba?
It can get so cold that if you got a train track and dropped it, stood it upright and let it fall, it would shatter. That's how fucking cold it gets.
Why
Like,
is it so much colder than the north?
You guys have no idea how cold it is. Like, you walk into a deep freeze and you're like, oh, this is cold. Fuck nobody. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Because, like, people just hear cold. Oh, fuck. Put on a sweater, put on a jacket, whatever. Hop in.
Yeah, just wear extra layers. What are you talking about? Just put on a sweater, dude. It's fine.
How big do you think Antarctica is? This area you can't see? I mean, the whole continent. How big do you think it is, guys?
Hey, man, that's why you don't even drive a car, man. And, yeah, no, it's fucking cold.
Dude, it does not get that cold. It's not that big a deal. I'm in California. It gets pretty cold here in the summer and the winter. Just put on some closed-toe shoes. Don't wear flip-flops anymore.
Yeah, the secret is layers.
Yeah, layers. You're fine.
Oh my god, you guys are fucking telling me? Oh. Anyway, I'm showing up to work here. I gotta jump off.
And no, the secret is once it gets to minus 15, 20 Celsius, anything after that it just feels the same. It's fucking
I'm
cold.
willing to sacrifice the environment to send Pocunnage out into the outback of Antarctica.
Dude, not at all.
I'm willing to let his body rot out there. Or
what are you?
I guess
did you just let his what?
Talking
about overreaction.
It's just he wants to go so bad. I'm willing to take the chance on the environment of his demise.
Yeah, but you're talking about killing him.
It's a big sacrifice you're willing to do.
I'm allowing him to go. What are you talking about? That is the freedom.
But you're taking joy in the idea that his corpse will be rotting out there. I
am not taking joy. I just said I'm willing to take the risk.
It sounds like
it's
just a point of saying that.
Kind of like, how dedicated he is to the cause, because my body is something that he really cares about, and he's willing to sacrifice that. Damn.
No, the environment is what I'm worried about. Just having your filth out there would be kind of a negative on the world.
I got you.
But as far as private people, since the 70s, you've been able to get a seat on a Russian icebreaker that goes down there every year. I think it does 3 trips a year. As a private person, there's no job interviews. It's like going on a cruise. It is. I personally know a guy that has done that cruise because he went to every continent, every country on the planet except Antarctica, and when he retired, that was his dream. And he did it. And he brought back photographs and everything. And then there's also flights that go that you don't land, but you can fly and you can circumnavigate Antarctica. If you do all the flights, you end up actually doing pretty much. There's nowhere that you wouldn't get to see. Nothing's hidden. Nothing's secret.
What is it? 10,000 feet.
I literally have 9 or 11 mates that are flying out from Christchurch, New Zealand on the 15th of October, the start of the summer season in Antarctica, when you have the fucking sun, because it's summer, because we live on a globe, that I'm not going to ask them to prove to you motherfuckers, because I don't want to look like
because there is no proof.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Holy fuck. Did you just say that?
The horse said you can lead a man to water, but you can't make him think.
So Scott, you want to restrict
horses drink.
Scott, you want to restrict poor Pocunage's choice of going to Antarctica?
I'll take the chance to send him.
Mars, Darwinism. Mars, you can lead
Kenmo's supposed to have set up a GoFundMe by now, isn't
We're not going to tell anybody he's down there. We're just going to drop him off and then take off and then come back when he tells us to come back.
I'll drop myself off. Thank you very much.
I care so much.
It's not the same.
I would give him some money for his exploration. I care so much to try and keep him alive. I will pay for some of his foul weather gear.
I will.
You're going to have like.
I just need your guarantees that your filthy military won't inhibit me.
What?
There is no fucking military in the Antarctica.
It's a lie.
It's not a lie.
Your imagination.
I promise you that's a lie.
No.
Your promises are worthless.
No, Dicklock, and I say
You
that.
need to research more.
Way.
Okay? There might not be a permanent military base, but there is military. You need to research.
I promise you, I will give you money if you go.
I say
to help
this
you on your mission.
I say this in the most politest way. There is
This is going to
military
be some...
there. There is military there, but the only reason the military are there is because they possess the only cargo planes to get people and resources to Antarctica. Then they fuck off. And then it's civilians there. There's no fucking soldiers with big fucking furry masks on keeping their faces warm with fucking M16s with fucking sheepskins wrapped around them.
Not with the sheepskins, but the rest
You could go down there.
sounds accurate.
You could go down there and get paid. So there's no one having to worry about anything. Just you can do it all on your own too.
You'll
see all the young people going to the American base. You see all the American
percentage being unemployed. Why don't you just go, man?
All the young people
you can go see all the
Now you're
on the American base, and there's footage of them
make
all
it-
going,
if you
"Yeah,
make it the first 6 months, you can come back on your own and make it perfect.
See, the funny thing is, I could get any one of you guys a job in Antarctica. The trouble is, you've got your curriculum vitae, or your CV, we call it in New Zealand, and what jobs you've had, what kind of person you are.
Clean the floors, I don't care.
And if I was going to get one of you guys a job there, which I could do tomorrow, I'm going to have to say, well, you're going to have to listen to these cunts on the internet, because and they'd go, no, we don't want any mental fucktards on the ice.
No one asked you to get them a job in Antarctica, did?
No. I'm just saying I could. They keep saying they can't go there. I'm just saying they keep saying they can't go there. They can't go there. I'm saying
they're wrong about that.
They can. I'm just saying they can. I could get them a job tomorrow, but I'm not going to put my reference on them getting a job and them getting to Antarctica going, oh, the fucking Earth's flat.
We don't want a job, you retard. We want a vacation.
Yeah, we know that, but just stick with me for a second. So if you can make it through the 6 months of working for them, which is nothing, then you have knowing that you can make it through just 6 months, not to mention even a day out there, and then you'd be able to come back. We bring you back, and you can go wherever you want. With not
if I'm free to travel, like I'm free to travel in any other place, then it's no problem. I don't need a little, running a little course or some time to get acclimated or any of that BS.
The weather?
I'll come prepared.
Oh, here you will.
Okay. You're trying to institute rules where I have to collect my own whatever and pee in a bottle and stuff. Some
just bring a file map.
Ridiculous. BS. Then it's not going to work.
Percentage, do you want to vote on the quick poll too?
What's that?
Vote on the quick poll.
I'm not looking at my thing, man.
So do you think that you could just show up at base camp in Everest and just climb it? It's just, I could easily do that. No problem.
You get a visa, you can.
He's right though. Preventing pollution in a nature reserve is a stupid idea, and we should just let people piss and shit all over the place. Because
destroy the
nature reserve, because we're so concerned about all the ice. Environment.
Because we do that here, right? We just let people piss and shit wherever they like. We have no regulations on where you piss or shit.
What do you mean it's hot ice? Who cares?
Okay,
it's not getting hot in a day and melting.
Percent. I will give $1,000 to the poll the fund for you to go to Antarctica. We got 6 other people, so we've already got a little nest egg going for you.
How about you use the funds to get special exemption from all the BS rules?
No, you're gonna have to follow the rules. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you should be allowed to pollute places. You should be allowed to do that. It's just BS that you're not allowed to do that.
If he
Cigarettes,
BS. I'll dig it up, you know. I won't just leave it there. I could dig it up or what have you. I could cover it up like a cat does. No problem. Don't worry about it.
It's not enough that you can go there. You don't have to be able to go there and follow no rules as well.
Hold up, how's it pollution when it's fertilizer?
You're a fucking wad, man. You're an idiot.
Fertilizer for what?
For whatever might there's no harm in it though.
You are the reason they have all that treaty stuff, because the rest of us wouldn't do that stupid shit. But you're the reason.
You're actually trying to argue that the stuff we use as fertilizer is a pollutant. You're ridiculous.
Listen to what you say, and it's just no wonder condoms were invented. Honestly.
Hey, you know what we could do? We could take all the.
They were invented.
We don't use human
So when-
manure.
you know,
We don't use
your wife-
human shit as fertilizer, dude. Do we?
Yes, you do.
Where? Where does that
Lot.
happen?
Oh wow, you are so ignorant, Jem.
So many
Where
researchers.
does that happen?
Most Western countries, probably all of them.
We don't use
Where?
human waste.
You do. You need to
No, we
research
don't.
it.
No, we
I
don't.
promise you they do.
Processed in some way, mate.
You're eating vegetables and fruits made with human feces.
We don't take
what I
raw
said.
sewage and
promise
dump
you.
it on farmland. Don't talk bollocks.
Not else. They process it, obviously.
Right. So we don't take shit and use it as fertilizer, do we?
No, they do.
Direct. We
Literally
take
do.
shit, we turn
Directly.
it into a fertilizer, and then we use that on the land.
It's the same thing. All they do
No,
is
it's
kind of like.
not. You're not talking about going to Antarctica and shitting and making fertilizer out of it. You're talking about shitting and leaving it on the ground. And you're saying that's what we use as fertilizer. No, it's not.
It's
We
not a
don't use-
pollutant, bro.
We don't use
a
raw
pollutant.
sewage as fertilizer. If we did, people would die.
What? They heat it up, they dehydrate it, and then what?
You're just thinking it's shit,
Do they
mate.
cook
You're
it?
completely wrong. There's all sorts of fats in it from cooking, because that goes down the sink too.
And it's not natural for the Antarctic
Tampons.
ice.
And we sure as shit, excuse the pun, don't use
And before they basically cooked it, what do you think they did?
human feces, I mean.
It doesn't matter what they did, because they didn't do it.
It does, because it
No, it
completely
doesn't.
goes against the dumb point that was being
No,
made.
it doesn't. It goes when it goes against your dumb point.
Yeah, your
It
dumb
doesn't
point.
matter what you do to it. When they're not
Shitting
trying
on
to
the ground
fertilize,
is the
the
same as
Antarctic is
applying a
ice.
fertilizer.
It is. There's
They're
nutrients
No,
in the
they're not
feces.
trying to do that. There's no reason
Soil,
to fertilize.
nitrogen, carbon, whatever,
Ice doesn't
and
need
it
it.
acts as a fertilizer.
When
Ice
frozen
doesn't need
piles of shit all over Antarctica. This ain't going to break down in a hurry.
You know, we should
Right.
just shit, we
It's
should just shit
nutrients.
in the rivers.
The disconnect
We
you
should
have.
You just have no idea.
What's the nutrients for? Snow?
We should just shit
Antarctica
in the rivers because it's
gains-
just nutrients.
The penguins?
Antarctica gains about
How
2 inches in
big is
ice a
Antarctica?
year.
One person.
The most pristine
you
record
guys are
of the
trying to make
Earth's
it-
history that we have.
See how you just grasp at straws to avoid it?
Nutrient for the penguins and seals,
Trolling.
so they can grow.
Hey, Scott, is there any reason we don't want to send him to Antarctica now? Come on.
No, not really.
No, I don't want to, because he's going to fucking shit all over the place.
I'm willing to take that risk. It would be a
No one's
benefit.
gonna send me, okay? If I'm gonna go, it's gonna be of my own accord. If I
You
have
want to
special
make it
exemption
alive.
from all the BS rules.
I'd take him to
But
a
you-
special shower block first.
It says here, the use of unprocessed human feces as fertilizer is a risky practice as it may contain disease-causing pathogens.
Yes.
Yeah, that's if the person actually has a disease,
Oh!
like
Ah,
a parasite which uses human vectors or what have you.
You wouldn't submit to disease testing before you travelled to Antarctica, would you?
I might, if that was actually the only, criteria that was, preventing me from having special exemption to visit with no rules. I totally would.
Ironically, it is the only reason.
So that's good. So
It's actually not, though.
you don't mind doing whatever
It
you have to
is.
do. You don't mind doing whatever you have to do to get your urine and your poop to be neutral of anything.
So, Jem, do you agree then that like normal feces is not a pollutant?
Well, why don't you eat your own shit since you're not sick?
What's wrong with you, man?
I think the problem is that I think human feces contains pathogens that are more likely to be dangerous to humans. I think, but I could be wrong.
Yes, it's not advisable, but
it's just like urine. Urine is normally sterile, or even blood. It's
urine isn't sterile.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Oh wow.
Percentage. You should have it meet up.
Definitely not sterile.
Okay, I think you need to research more.
I think you do.
You should have a meet up with old Dave from the UK that loves drinking his piss, and you can compare what piss and shit's like.
Despite the rumours, urine is not a sterile substance. It naturally contains bacteria that renders it a non-sterile substance.
What natural bacteria is in urine?
While the bacterial levels are likely low, it's
infection.
important to understand the implications of drinking urine.
Just the fact the name
what
urine.
bacteria is in urine if the person does not have a bacterial infection?
Percentage.
Science news: urine is not sterile.
Just the name urine should fucking put you off. But
well, actually, if you take urine and you, I've seen urine that has fallowed, it changes rather quickly. There's got to be something living in there.
Popular science: it's apparent many doctors are still under the impression that urine is sterile. So are we agreed that urine isn't sterile and you were wrong about that?
It is, unless the person's diseased and has a bacterial infection.
No, dude, your mouth isn't sterile. What are you thinking? What's going on in your... Actually,
yeah, mouth is less clean than urine is. For being, like, you know, clear about it.
He's just
same
had
germs in your mouth comes out of your dick, mate.
He's just had a big brown...
Are you substantiate the proof by assertion, Gem, or are you just going to keep on repeating stuff that isn't specific at all?
You told me to go and research it. I put, is urine sterile into Google, and every result says it's not sterile. So what
if it has bacteria, does it normally have bacteria?
But what you're saying is,
what
you're saying is, urine's not sterile when it's not sterile.
I said it's just like the feces. If you don't have a disease, it's fine. It's like, you know, it's not a pollutant.
Well, now you're saying not a pollutant. Not a pollutant.
Make up your mind. What are you saying?
Not a pollutant is different to not sterile, isn't it? They're two different things.
Urine is sterile normally. If it has bacteria, it's abnormal. It's a condition called urethritis or cystitis or wherever the infection's coming from, and that's what's abnormal.
So how do you know the minute, the second, the microsecond that happens? It goes from what's already in your mouth to what's in your bloodstream and then in your urine. How fast is that? How fast does that happen?
What are you talking about, man?
What you were saying is, I know exactly. You should know exactly what I'm talking about. That means that you're saying that if there's no disease, meaning that I'm perfect, I don't have any problem. I don't have any urine. I don't have any upper, lower, any kind of infest anywhere. I can go to the Antarctica. No, because you can't get that sample to them. It'd be impossible.
It's impossible to provide a urine sample?
That is 100% neutral when it comes out.
What are you talking about, man? If you don't have an infection, your urine's going to be fine.
I'm talking about all...
How do you think they find out if you have an infection? They examine your urine.
How do you know you have an infection?
They say that you have an infection.
How do you know you have one?
Lord have mercy, I just told you a second ago. What's wrong with you?
No, how do you know that you have one?
I just told you. There's urinalysis. They check your urine for bacteria. If it has bacteria enough, then you have a bacterial infection.
Percentage? No. Could you please tell me what a...
You're not a pathologist.
Could you please tell me what...
What? This guy said no.
It says here, firstly, urine from a healthy person is pathogen-free, as is the same person's feces. Secondly, the lack of any pathogens in the urine does not mean that the urine is sterile, which would imply that it would be void of any microbial activity.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if it's particles for the bacteria to feed on.
A pathogen. So if you have enough bacteria, it's pathogenic, right? It could be causing disease. So if it's pathogen free, then it's basically, you know, free of bacteria that will cause disease. That means it's effectively sterile. If it's not causing disease,
That doesn't mean it's sterile.
Wow, you're just
And of course, it's academic because you can't guarantee that. You can't guarantee that anyway. Somebody could get all sorts of infections, couldn't they? And
You're dishonest, man.
The urine. So you wouldn't know that anyway.
Your point was that it's dangerous. It's not good for the environment, and now you're trying to rely on very.
So why don't we just let everyone piss and shit all over the street then? If it's all just fine and dandy to do that, why don't we do it?
Your point was it's not healthy because it's a pollutant or what have you, and you were proven wrong about that.
Which it is. It contains bacteria, and you have no way of guaranteeing. It contains bacteria, It contains bacteria, and you have no way of guaranteeing in any way if those bacteria are dangerous to humans or not. No way whatsoever. So
it's not about.
It's not sterile. It's not sterile. Every single reference I can find says it's not sterile, and equally, you have no way of guaranteeing it's not dangerous.
It's not so much about the type of bacteria as it is the amount.
So it's you that's shifting the goalpost.
No, you are, because
you shifted from not sterile to not polluting. That's what you've done. Is urine sterile or is it not sterile?
When you said pollutant, did you mean just the random molecule that can cause disease, or were you talking about something that's pathogenic that can cause issues?
We're under a virus, you fucking dumb.
It won't matter.
If it's a pollutant, it doesn't necessarily have to cause disease. It can just cause a smell or an unsightly mess. All of that's pollution, right?
Because it's unsightly.
Well, yes, but plastic bottles are pollutants, aren't they?
Okay.
They are. Any trash is pollution. All of it is. If it's not wanted in the place where it is,
your trash argument is pollution.
Exactly.
Of course.
If it's not wanted.
Not like over there. It's not. Everything you've ever seen here is nothing like it is down there. Not one way.
It's got nothing to do with the bacteria you're on as well.
Having been able to eat is going to give you a problem. And once you're down there, your urine's not going to be neutral, and your poop's not going to be neutral the whole time you're there. Because again, maybe when they did the test, after that, it's gone.
Again, it's because Antarctica is the most pristine environment on the planet Earth. It gains 2 inches of ice every year. It's very, very slow. That ice record is a total record of its existence on the planet, which gives us a magnificent window into the past in terms of microbes, the way they've changed, the way they've evolved, everything. It tells us a lot about the planet Earth, a hell of a lot. And read about Lake Vladivostok, when we still haven't gone in there because we know if we do, we'll contaminate it. And at that moment, we've destroyed all of that for the rest of humanity. So we're very cautious about breaking into Lake Vladivostok. The Russians went within 200 meters of the surface of it, of the dome. Oh my God, triggered. So the reason why you can't piss in Antarctica is so you don't contaminate the ice record for the rest of humanity, for the rest of time immemorial. Just because we could say, oh, we're just going to piss in one spot today, then you're going to be pissing in everywhere 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, 2,000 years from now, 500 for the rest of humanity's existence. Let's just not piss there today and not piss there tomorrow.
Wait, are you being serious?
With you. Yes, I am being absolutely serious.
You sound like you're absolutely meaning.
I want to know something. Why do you want to go there?
I wish I've heard in a while.
What's wrong with what he's saying, percentage? You think it's funny? Why do you think it's funny that you shouldn't?
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Why would you think that?
Do you want to shit and piss?
You're going to use the entire continent as a pristine record of human history or something?
Not human history.
You're an idiot. It's entitled. That's what you are. You're entitled. You're a little Karen.
So you think that you should be able to piss?
Have a designated wildlife, reserve area.
Why do you the penguins piss?
Dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Where do the penguins an area is an entire continent larger than the United States and is mostly uninhabited.
Guess we should get rid of the bases then, because they're infringing on this
bases,
pristine thing. Look at you guys, double speaking like a bunch of cowards.
They take great pains to make those bases as little impact on the environment as possible. There is some impact that people make by going.
Yeah.
And
what about all the fishing ships? Fishing ships on the coast.
Damage as possible. Now, allowing ship villages and assholes like you to go down there and willy-nilly run around and take dumps because you are an entitled fuckstain makes me want to send you down there to die.
You do sound very entitled.
Where do the penguins?
I'm pointing out your guys' bullshit argument.
I can't wear a mask. Same fucking people. Everybody else does it, but no, they can't do it.
Where do the penguins piss?
On the shore.
The penguins have been polluting Antarctica.
They're from there. The environment is from there, you fucking idiots.
Humans are the only animals that can go there and piss inland. Do you compute that? Penguins eat fish. They live in the water. They only stay on the shore. If you go 100 kilometers inland, you're the only living thing that has been there and can go there. You're the only thing that can contaminate it. No other native animal can. No other animal can. Period. No birds. No anything. We want to maintain that to be perfect, pristine, untouched.
Like a cunt.
I'm sorry, where
does out all the shit and piss, all of it.
Where does the ice come from?
Up the bases tomorrow.
Forest the Amazon, and you're worried about somebody pissing in the snow. You fucking.
Well, penguins piss in the water. Where does the ice come from?
Well, we should worry about both of those things, Brian, shouldn't we?
And we should just worry about these guys ever getting close to there, ever. And we should also thank God that these kind of people were not on the treaty signing.
Well, yeah, I mean, they wouldn't make the IQ test, would they? Thank God for that.
Fucking arsehole. Worried about pissing in the snow, you fucking idiot.
They are so fucking stupid.
I would wager that flat earthers would not be able to go to Antarctica because at least for a job, because they wouldn't be able to pass any kind of a psychological test.
How is it stupid?
That's why we have the best and brightest standard for things.
I want to more than ever pay their way to go down there and just dump them off and say, see you in 6 months.
It's like the billionaire that wanted to build a resort down there, and everyone's just like, mate, take your money and piss off, will you?
A load of bollocks.
You know what it is, guys? This is what it is. It's Jeff Bezos. It's Elon Musk paying their way to do what they want to go into outer space. Where they say, no, they said you can go there unless you do all this. Well, you know what? They had enough money to do that.
Yeah, the icebreaker lands on the shore. You can walk around. It stays there for 2 days. You can actually set foot on the place and, plant your flag and all that. But it's the same rules. You're not allowed to take your dick out or have a squat. It's just being respectful.
Do you believe everything they fucking tell you?
They do, man. They're globalists.
I believe everything they tell me.
You believe everything YouTube tells you. Where are you getting your information from, mate?
Load of bollocks.
Thousands of sources, and you're getting it from one. Who beats who in this situation? What do you got? Bible, YouTube, or should I call it YouTube? Because you're feeding from the very slave masters that you say rule you, overrule you, and there's a lot of contradictions in the narratives, man.
Talking to
pristine record of human history.
No, of history, of Earth's history.
You know what Vladimir Putin did? Did you ever see what Putin did? It's kind of funny and ironic, and they presented to him one of the deepest core samples of the ice. And they handed it to him in a presentation and said, this is one of the oldest pieces of water containing microbial life that we have in our possession. So he put it in a glass, poured vodka on it, and drank it. And he goes, "What else do I do with ice?" Yeah, it's true. It's what he did.
It's cute. It's not true. Otherwise, that kind of video would be everywhere.
Yeah,
and
it
that
is.
wasn't everywhere. Never was everywhere.
I thought the fucking poles moved anyway.
So we've established that you can freely move around Antarctica beyond following some normal rules, reasonable
No,
rules.
you fucking lying bastard! You
Yeah,
can't.
just let us know that you go when you're going, when you're supposed to be back, and if you want us to come look for you. This is the only three things we're going to care about: when you're going to go, when you want to come back, and what do you want to do? How much time you want to go before we say, "Hey, don't come look for us." It's just gonna be your decision. You're gonna be there.
What kind of equipment bring him?
Just remember, it's the driest, most inhospitable continent on the planet. It's like going to another planet. It's
And there's no 7-Elevens or HEBs or hotels for open people. Hey, I'm coming in my car.
That'll trigger a flat earther. It is the driest continent on the planet.
Didn't get triggered.
Why do I say that? No rain, no snowfall. Not one bit ever.
Who knows how to master the art of not getting
How the fuck did the ice get there then, you thick cunt?
He's triggered.
I don't know. Use your
There
mind,
you
you
go. You succeeded in triggering him.
Ice is fucking water, is it not?
Yeah, it gains 2 inches of ice a year on average.
How? If it's the driest fucking place, you thick
You're so
swat.
smart, you tell me.
Because it's only 2 inches per year.
You're a fucking idiot.
I rest my case. Yes, you are. Get ice there if it doesn't rain. If it did rain, there'd be no ice. Ooh, what do we do with that thinking?
What about the Sahara?
Oh,
No, is the Sahara a continent?
I don't think there's ice there either, mate.
Sahara's not a continent, mate.
Is the Sahara a continent, Mr. Mabbott?
Bunch of lying cunts. That's even worse.
Mabbott, is the Sahara a continent?
Fucking idiots.
You know what a continent means?
You guys are out of control.
How many continents are there on Earth?
As far as I'm concerned, 6.
One.
Brian, do you wear continents?
Because
Why
Europe
do
and
you
Asia
fucking
are
lie?
more fucking
Why
continent. I don't
is
give a shit
your
who
life
says anything else.
only exists about fucking lying to people? What is that all about?
They're
How
not
the
lying.
fuck
They
do
think
you
it's.
sleep at night spewing
think
out
it's-
all these fucking lies?
They
What
think
lies?
it's true, Brian. They think it's true, mate. You know the
fucking
difference.
pains me. It
I don't even know
fucking
what
pains
it
me to
is.
listen to you.
All these
No, but
tools
they
given to
really
you,
think this.
calculators,
They believe-
internet, all these
they
tools, they're
believe
right at
they're
your
on the
fingertips.
spit.
What? So,
You can
Brian.
find out all this stuff for yourself. You've given all the tools,
Yeah.
the same tools we've got, and
Yeah,
yet
bullshit.
you choose
And
to
have
not
your
use
head
any of them.
filled with fucking crap
Only
like you
use
have.
the left mouse. That's the only of all the tools you've got presented to you. The only thing that you are able to use is the left mouse. That's all you've ever done. And
Well,
you sit
prove it.
there and declare that you know things.
ISIS. Prove
I
the
don't
globe
know
right
fuck
now.
all, but I don't
Wait
spew
on.
the fucking
Wait on.
bullshit.
Just did,
you're
mate.
fucking
Wait
spewing.
on.
That proves
Prove
the globe.
the globe to everyone right now. Go on.
There is no curvature. There is no spin. We don't
Oh,
live
you're a
on
bit
a
quiet.
lunatic globe.
Why is it
Fucking
so
idiot.
difficult? Why is it so difficult in 2021 to definitively prove the globe and the
It's not.
planet?
It's not.
The problem is you. It's what you're having is called an
me.
ID10T error. Yeah.
I'm
It's
the
called.
reason
It's
for people
yeah. The
questioning
problem
it.
exists
Me.
between keyboard and chair.
Right.
Yeah, when
So it's
people,
my
when
fault.
people say, hey, Murrow, when
Yes.
people say a pill is hard to swallow, it's not the pill's fault. It's the person trying to swallow its fault.
What does that mean?
That means that the problem lies with you, not the knowledge and
Yeah,
data. That
listening to this shite.
Yeah, this is
Truth
yawn
is, Mark,
already.
it's so hard
I'm already
because they
over it.
don't have any definitive evidence beyond reasonable doubt
Truth
that it's
is
a globe.
self-evident. It doesn't need defending. It doesn't need to have smoke and mirrors. It is
Exactly. And that's
self-evident.
why the truth is it's observably motionless and the horizon's observably flat. Get wrecked.
Then explain the southern star trails. Get wrecked.
I don't know what the stars are. You don't either.
Yeah, so then it doesn't. No, we do, but you don't. So you can't talk about that anymore.
Doesn't matter what the stars are.
I'm so sweet.
We don't live in the fucking stars.
Doesn't know what the stars are.
We know you don't know who they are. So don't talk to us about it anymore.
They're pinholes in the dome, I think.
Therefore, no one knows what the stars are because I personally don't know what they are. Never mind, we can observe.
No one knows what the stars are. We've never been up there. We don't know what the fuck they are.
Irrelevant.
I know what they are.
We can still observe what they do. And
we've never been up there.
Doesn't matter what they are.
We could observe stuff, and we observe them moving.
Making star trails.
Yeah.
We observe them
Yep.
moving.
They're moving.
Nonsense.
Stars don't make star trails, cameras do.
Don't be so tedious, man.
Listening to fucking morons. Spewing out the same crap all the fucking time.
You
But
could
why-
talk,
why
Brian.
is
What
it
the
so-
fuck are you on about?
Why is it so hard to get to the next bit, Brian? You know, like, say if everyone starts believing in the flat earth or whatever you want to call it, right? What then?
It's really
Like,
not all
I've
that hard to
heard
prove,
They still gotta go
arguments
hang on.
today.
They still got to go to work the next day. They still got to go have a shit, right?
Not if you're Antarctic.
Yeah, and Bokanich wants to
what-
do that in the middle of an ice
I
field.
mean, you know, why don't we just
speaking
all
in
get on with our
Antarctica.
lives and stop losing, you know, brain cells and just have a good time? We're not here that long. You know what? Don't stress yourself out about this, Brian. It's not worth it. It really isn't.
Brian, stress yourself out, please.
Seriously, some stupid arguments today. Gem and Zeiss take the cake.
I am not listening to you, butcher cunt.
Your feces and your urine is a pollutant in Antarctica. But if you're in the outback, you could, you know, shit and piss,
Oh,
and,
you're an
you know,
idiot.
as much as you like.
Yeah.
Weak
Weak trolls league.
Mr. Pekonich, you said earlier that urine is not a pollutant. Could you please define pollutant for me?
Moyoc, West Side.
Okay, what could you? That's not a definition. It may be an inclusive, but what's the definition of pollutant?
To make me repeat myself.
It's not a definition. That's just an indication of one pollutant.
Mars, thanks for the DM. I'm not an idiot. You wish I was.
No, it's evident. And you're not necessarily an idiot. You just play one on the internet.
Yeah, well, you have to. You have to stay sane. If you take all this seriously, you've lost your mind right there.
Yes, but you play one on the internet, then you know I don't know what your actual intelligence level is.
That's
But-
right.
Doesn't even matter.
You're actually
Doesn't
right,
even
Will.
matter. I know. Doesn't even matter who's
It's a
intelligent
sphere,
and who
and
isn't.
if you take anything else seriously, it's just a joke, right?
Yeah. We weren't going anywhere anyway.
You act like having an honest conversation is beyond you.
I'm the most honest person here.
Yo, tied maybe.
Is beyond Mel.
Eh?
You're tied, Merle.
I'm tired.
Yeah, tied for the most honest.
Who's the other honest one?
Me? And who else is?
Good.
Who else is a flat earther here?
Just because you're a flat earther or take that title
You
doesn't
two
mean
want to
you're
get a
honest.
room and fucking reach around each other?
No, but did you hear
You're
me
not-
talking to
but you're
Wits? Did you
not
hear me talking to
pedo-cuntish's
Wits
age.
last
No,
night?
no. You're not pedo-cuntish's age.
Did you hear me talking to Witsit last night? It's open season.
What's that mean?
Flat
Jim?
earthers tear each other apart all the time. You guys can't agree on anything.
It just means if you want to speak shit and come on like the new Messiah and like you've got it all figured out with your 666s and all that fun stuff and try to dazzle people, it's only going to go so far. You've still got to live out the rest of your life in a human society. You're not special.
No one knows what the fuck you're talking
Well,
Yeah,
you
can
should
you
know
give some
what I'm talking
context?
about.
Did you and Witsit get into it last night or something?
Yeah, he came in like saying that 666 this and 666 this and 666 that, and then it was like,
yeah, the number of the beast.
I mean, fuck's sake.
Conspiracy theorist? Or would be another conspiracy theorist?
For it is the number of man.
We're going to be okay, guys. Remember that stuff. Remember that you've got a life, you know? Come back to simplicity. You weren't going to space ever.
Did God
you were
create the
never
printing
going
press
to space.
so that you could read the Bible?
No, you guys weren't ever going to space.
No, God created the internet so that you can preach the Bible.
So you got to live your life here on the earth. Get used
Just trying
to
to
it.
find God for you, man. Like, where's God?
I'm not
Tell me
trying
where
to find
is.
God. God's inside you. What's
He's
keeping you alive right now?
inside me. It's that malicious.
What's keeping you alive
doing
right
inside
now?
me?
No, I have no
What's keeping
bacteria,
you
so
alive?
he's not inside me.
What's keeping you alive? Not
It's
you.
keeping me alive.
What's keeping you alive? It's not you.
Oxygen.
Is it food? Is it water? Maybe you're missing the point.
In my robotic part.
What
If
keeps
all
you
it takes
above?
is food and water and air to keep you alive, then how come you have things like heartbreak syndrome?
Is the number of the beast 666 or 616?
666.
Well, no, I mean the oldest manuscript in the Dead Sea Scrolls shows it as 616.
Yeah, it's
666, man. 666 or 603 score and 6. It's always 666.
Right. Except for the oldest manuscript written on papyrus gives the number as 616.
What's the tilt of the earth? What's the tilt
Well,
of the earth?
that would mean that the number.
What's the wording?
Know about it. It can't happen.
Moyak?
If you don't know
What's
about
the
it,
tilt of the earth? 23.4. What does that leave you with?
I don't know.
6.6.
Well, that's really cool, but the number of the beast is 616 according to the oldest manuscript.
So what's the actual wording?
Can we go through all the things now that match 616?
Could you read the quote from the original manuscript? Well,
Yes,
the original translation, I should say.
It's an X, an exclamation looking point, and then a back. No, it's sort of like an S looking thing. 616. Sorry, yeah, 616.
What?
It's an X, an exclamation sort of looking thing, and an S. 616.
Like an upside down 6?
No, an X. The language that it was written
and
in.
then an exclamation looking thing, and then an S, right?
Correct.
So flip that upside down, or like reverse it, and it's 6.
Oh, okay.
Got to do a bit of gymnastics.
Yeah, duh, Moyak. If you take a
so
pencil
the number of the
and you
beast-
connect the dots, it's 666.
So the number of the beast is 6. Okay, so it's either 616, 666, or 6. Written
What's
in
the
English,
next
language that didn't
next
exist.
few words?
Written in English, a language that didn't exist.
And if you translate it correctly, it's the number of man. It's the number of humans. It's not the number.
It did exist, Moyak.
The beast.
It was just
The beast
upside
is
down and
man.
back to front.
Yes.
So speaking of mental gymnastics, a percentage, do you know of Quantum Erasers Bob and Alice?
Yeah, I heard about it last week or whatever.
Yeah, what do you think of that? You think it's got any validity?
I honestly forget what it is.
Probably for the better.
Let me think. Oh yeah, they're walking towards each other, right?
Right.
And basically, the idea on the globe is that everyone is looking down from horizontal all the time to see, whoever else. Right?
There should be an abyss between them.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
And we just don't realize that we're looking down from horizontal.
How could we ever determine where we were looking?
Yeah, so do you think it's got any validity? That's my question.
Was it?
I think it doesn't solve the
as a paradox
age-old question of whether level's curved or straight.
Do you think it's got any validity as a paradox? It's how he's presenting it as a paradox.
No, because it's unprovable, one way or the other.
Is he really?
As an adult man, you don't think there's a way to show definitively that 2 points on an object can both seem to be looking down from a horizontal or a tangent from the object they're standing on. That's what you're going with.
No, 2 points on a line or whatever could be, or it could seem to be looking down through like a refraction or something like that, but we don't know that's what it is.
Regardless of what we're on, though.
We don't know if it's on a line, like a straight line or a curved line.
Regardless of what we're on, though, he's saying it wouldn't work on a sphere. Regardless of what we're actually on, he's saying it wouldn't work on a sphere.
I don't know about that. I think it would work on a sphere if what they claim, which is that we're always looking down from horizontal, but not realizing it.
So in a way, you agree that he's a bit of a mong.
That's not what I said, but if you're trying to look for like a soundbite,
no, I'm not looking for any recordings. I don't do that shit.
Like I said, it doesn't prove anything either way. Because it doesn't answer the age-old question of whether level is curved or straight.
It makes a big difference.
Regardless of what we're on, he's saying it won't work on a sphere.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that. If they had refraction looking down, or if it's true that you're always looking down from horizontal to see people, which I personally think that's bullshit, but they haven't proven it wrong, or I guess the burden of proof is on the Globers for claiming that, but it's never been proven right either.
No, it's been
just back to like all the unfalsifiable claims of the heliocentric
proof's
model.
on him because he's saying it won't happen on a sphere.
Yeah, but that's a negative statement. Short of omnisciency, you can't really prove it.
Ah, come on, man! Don't play with words. You know what he's saying, and you know it's wrong.
And I already disagree with him. Automatically making that assessment.
And so your cheating would be on you.
So basically, he's wrong, and he doesn't know how things work on a sphere.
It gets us nowhere.
To say that wouldn't work on a sphere would say he doesn't know how a sphere works.
I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say it gets us nowhere.
Of course, you can't say
that. I give you permission to say it.
Thank you.
Why can't you say it?
If you're that kind of a scumbag, go ahead.
I could say it if I believed it. I'm not going to just say what you want me to say.
You know what I mean. Don't be pedantic. Come on, man. You know what I mean.
Dude, I already said what I feel.
No, you didn't. No.
Okay.
I repeated myself a couple of times too.
Okay. You have said. Hang on, Mars. You have said what you feel, and we get a better. Well, I don't know if it's a better insight into you, but it's a confirming insight.
All right.
Now we're going to talk to Alice.
Go ahead, Mars.
Hey, Alice.
Do you guys know how I can find Brandon?
No, I'm calling up for the other person that would be involved in any decision, control of anybody else in this picture. That person better have somebody else to provide right now. It's a better person than you, a better person than me, and a better person to her. But they got to do better than all of us.
Do you know what he looks like, Mil?
No.
I don't either. So who's this guy?
Brandon, he runs the other server where we were having the conversation.
Oh, so he was getting between us? Between us?
No, it's just...
I thought it was just going to be two-way. So,
why is everyone so fucking triggered tonight?
So what?
Everyone just seems really triggered and on edge. Is it all the Rona? And
I'm trying to be nice and give you everything you need. I just wanted to...
You DM'd me and you said that I was retarded, and I said I'm not retarded, and then you said, okay, an idiot. It's not really helping me right now.
When was that? Before the very beginning? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I should have said sorry back then. I didn't know you were that sensitive.
I'm not. Just, you know what I mean?
You know what? I wouldn't call you retarded unless I thought there was hope for you and that it might help you understand that you're being retarded.
Yeah, but look who's talking.
See?
Oh, burn!
The horse said you can lead a human to water, but you can't make him think.
Sounds like you're making fun of speech impediments, Merle. Is that what we're doing?
No, I'm not. I've got nothing against speech impediments. Stephen Hawking was.
I don't know if I'd call that a speech impediment.
He never had a speech impediment. Stephen Hawking.
Of all the
universe,
of all the people, as an example, it's the guy who literally can't speak.
He had a speech impediment that made him speak like this. My name is Stephen Hawking.
Universe.
Stephen Hawking.
Oh no.
That's why he sounded like a robot.
Too far, my.
He sounded like a speaking spell.
That didn't make him smarter. He was already smart, no matter what he looked like, anything else. And what he sounded like, he was extremely smart.
Was he though? Or do you just speak shit like most people?
No, don't go there, Mel. The man had fucking far more to do with science than you could ever hope to.
Really? By sitting in a wheelchair and wondering about the universe? Really?
All he had was his mind.
Right. And what good did it do him?
Lots.
Yeah, he didn't figure
Did
out.
humanity a lot of good too.
He didn't figure out.
Like he theorized Hawking radiation. That was fucking discovered. There's all sorts of shit. Yeah,
I like that statement. You said he theorized and it's been discovered.
Do you know
When was Hawking radiation discovered?
Didn't they discover it recently?
I don't know of anybody. I don't think there's anything tangible with Hawking radiation. I could be wrong.
I could have sworn I heard someone say earlier this year that they made the discovery and actually confirmed the theory.
Huh, I'll have a look.
I'll have to check. I'll have a look.
Theory.
But regardless, the point was that
no, it's not regardless.
Was, a far greater scientific mind than Merle could ever fucking hope to be.
How do you know that?
The evidence speaks for itself.
I can't even say it because your brain wouldn't take in the words. I doubt they would take in the words right now.
I could bring you closer to reality than he ever could. Or
no, what? Yeah. How much acid are we going to have to take?
No acid. I'm talking about reality.
Jim Crow, man. That's the guy that had that big tent place and he got his people poison and die at a certain day.
No, I'm just talking about the stuff that you guys avoid like every day, like reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're not the one playing Flat Earther.
No, you're playing
I think I just met the devil.
You're playing mainstream.
So he's talking to again. The devil is here.
Yes, I'm playing the person who believes the evidence.
Yeah. You believe in
evidence.
There you go, Mike.
Images. But you never question the physical.
I knew I wasn't crazy. Well,
that's like really
as crazy as people think I am.
Get out of there.
Cool. We need to think about the physical object in the image. That's where the answers are. And how planets form. Why doesn't the conversation ever go there?
Where?
I'm sorry. Apparently, I'm not up to date with the globe debate. I didn't know about Hawking radiation.
Why has it never been discussed in here or in a formal debate?
Because it doesn't exist.
Seriously.
It does not exist.
Exactly. The planet doesn't exist. Exactly. Because it's impossible. So why don't we get to
You heard what you wanted to hear then, didn't you?
And then we can move forward to the next bit. Because there is no force. There is no force that could create a planet. And then keep it in acceleration.
Actually, hang on, I'm going to play something up. Give me
around the sun through the universe. Like those forces don't exist. It's all confirmation bias and assumption. You know that already. It's fucking obvious. But like I was saying before, you still got to live your life on Earth.
So, Mel, those two magnets there that are being drawn towards each other, can you see the force of the magnetism drawing those two magnets towards each other?
Magnets can't draw. They don't have hands.
Why are you bringing up more stuff that you don't understand?
Because I'm trying to figure out why you'd accept magnetism as an invisible force, but gravity is so far out there that nope, that couldn't ever possibly be a thing.
Well,
for too long didn't.
Well, it's not a thing. So eventually you'll just get over it and just keep
Yeah,
going.
it doesn't exist.
So how come
Magnetism does exist. We see it.
magnetism
It's like you got over the
works
tooth
like that?
fairy, the Easter
Why is it so
bunny,
out of the realm of possibility that gravity could be an invisible force?
It must be super invisible since we don't observe it at all.
What do you mean it isn't? It isn't an
There's
invisible
no-
force.
there's
There's
no
an invisible force
force.
obviously working there.
Even a magnet couldn't form a planet, let alone a metaphysical.
But it's still an invisible force, isn't it, Mel?
Well, a magnet could form a planet. What are you talking
You
about?
have
If you had a
invisible, listen, you have to invoke invisible metaphysical forces. I mean, that's dangerous.
You can
terrain.
clearly see the effect of the force that those two magnets are having on each other. Yes or no? Are you that blind that you need to go to Specsavers?
I'm not even looking at it. Let me have a look now.
How come it doesn't
Two
make any
magnets
mess?
squashing an apple.
Yeah, why isn't there any applesauce or any mess at all?
What am I looking at? All right. Yeah.
I believe it. It's just really weird. There's no mess. Sorry, go ahead.
I was thinking that. Where does the apple go?
Yeah, it is quite. You can see part of it, like up and like out the top of it. You can see a bit of it stuck to the top afterwards. Don't know where the rest of it goes though.
Just gets squished, doesn't it?
It's fake.
Love that he destroys that
yeah,
beautiful magnet.
You see a little flash of light at the bottom where the magnets meet,
there's
when the
a
magnets
spark.
meet together. That's creating a new Apple universe.
So showing me that, how do you get to a globe or a planet from that?
Well, how is it that magnetism as an invisible force is perfectly fine, but gravity as an invisible force is completely out of the realm of possibility? Explain
Because the
that to me.
former exists and the latter doesn't.
So
I'm not talking. Pedo
Is that
Kundich,
what we're
you
doing?
don't even know. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Merle.
It doesn't
Shut
matter.
up.
You got your answer.
So I'm asking you, how do you get from magnetism or gravity to a planet?
They're both
'Cause I
in
can't-
magnetism and gravity. No. We're not going to planets, Merle. We're going
I'm
to
being
invisible
really precise
forces
about
and how both of them are invisible forces. Why is one outside the realm of possibility and yet this one is perfectly fine?
No, what I'm asking you
Don't.
is, we're not outside the realm of possibility. What I'm being real with you and saying, I can't get from A to Z in any reasoning process with the substances that exist. And they say all the elements, the metals, the grass, the plants, the water, the whole thing. If you build it from the ground up, gravity and fucking magnetism don't have any fucking real substantial thing that you can point to that, like, yep, that's the fucking core fundamental.
Merle, we're looking at two
motor
magnets
of the
drag
whole
each other together.
Merle, it's a trap. Don't
Come
even
on,
put
seriously.
magnetism.
You can see the two magnets pulling themselves
They're not
towards each
listening.
other.
That because you're not meeting me.
Don't even have it on the same level because one exists and one doesn't. It's a trap.
It's just weird.
I have a question because you said it was a physical force, an invisible force, right? Does that make it physical or metaphysical?
If it causes hurt to you, it's physical.
No, because if it's the bending of space-time, is space-time physical or metaphysical?
I'm talking about the bending of space-time.
That's what I'm talking about. Gravity, the bending of space-time, is space-time physical or metaphysical?
But you tell me if it has to be affected by a certain thing, it's physical.
Space-time is physical.
Yep.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. How many times do I have to say yes?
We can interact.
I'm trying to get you to correct your answer because it's wrong.
Yeah,
The effects may be physical, but space-time in and of itself wouldn't be.
Tell me what the real answer is.
I just did, if you were listening.
So, whatever you said, that's what I meant to say. There you go.
Fantastic.
So, now what?
So, the question is, if space-time is metaphysical, is it truly an invisible force?
He didn't agree with you. He didn't agree with you that it was metaphysical.
Can something be invisible and metaphysical?
Yes.
Or is invisible the word we use for physical things that are hidden?
No. What invisible is the things we call the physical that we can't
see.
Oh, no, that others can't see.
Yeah, okay, I agree with you. It's a physical thing that can't be seen, so it's it's invisible.
By others.
So you wouldn't use that word for gravity for bending of space-time because space-time isn't physical, right?
It is. No, it is. 100%.
Okay, now you're going back on what you said.
No.
So you think space-time in and of itself is physical?
Yes. But
so we can see or we can sense somehow space-time in and of itself without seeing its effects.
No.
Physical. As your description of electromagnetism or magnetism in general, you don't have to see it for it to be physical. You've already agreed to that.
Yeah, no, if it is physical and we can't see it, then it's invisible. I give you that. But I'm saying if something's metaphysical, it can't be invisible because that's reserved for physical things that can't be seen.
How do you know?
You understand?
No, that's not true.
It is true.
You're just making an assumption.
Okay, fine. Then how do you distinguish between the invisible things that are physical versus the metaphysical things, which are always invisible?
What do you mean by always?
Give me an example of a metaphysical thing that's visible.
You perform studies and experiments to see if you can see the effects.
Well, then,
Lord have mercy.
Can physically interact with you.
Does anyone else want to respond? Because these guys are not hanging.
Well, I'm sorry, my answer.
But go ahead. You do yours first, and I'll do mine next.
As I said, all you can do is perform experiments or tests to see the effects of the physical environment around you. If you can see the effects, then they are physical.
Okay, I'm with you. The effects can be physical. That doesn't mean the thing in and of itself is physical. Do you agree?
You're making a supposition.
I'm asking you a question. Do you agree that while the effects can be physical, it doesn't mean that the thing in and of itself is necessarily physical?
If it has a physical effect in your environment, then at least one part of it is physical. And there's no reason whatsoever to think that it wouldn't be physical. You're just making an assumption.
So, space-time in and of itself is physical now.
The 3D space we live in is physical, yes. Time, which is the fourth dimension of the space-time, is felt by everyone.
Space is not... Hold up, the 3D space is not physical. If it was completely empty, it wouldn't be physical.
It is physical. We move through it every day.
You're moving through atmosphere. You're moving through volume.
Yeah, and the atmosphere takes up space in our 3D world.
Yeah, that's called volume. In 3D, you have 1D you have length, 2D you have length and width, 3D you have length, width, and height, and that gives you volume. Squared is area, cubed is volume. It's not just space. Space is the metaphysical concept.
Space. How big is the space that you live in?
You're making stuff up.
Yeah, but that's just conflation of terms.
You're just leading. That's all you're doing.
No, you're saying like time is real. Time isn't real either. Time's just a concept.
Time is real. Our understanding of it is a concept.
No, time is movement, bro.
Why aren't you still a baby if time was just a concept?
Because time is just a concept that we have for the quantification of movement. Movement is real. That's why we have, hours, seconds, days based off of the movement of the sun. Time in and of itself is a concept, just like space, just like length, just like anything else.
You're just making stuff up to fit your narrative.
What have I said that's inconsistent?
Exactly as I described it. It is physical. You claiming it's a concept is fine. We call it time.
Okay, fine.
We ascribe it a description of what we believe time is, but time, the physical time that moves us forward through four-dimensional 3D space and time is physical, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't progress forward through time.
Okay, so when you're saying when you have 3 dimensions, that's space and it's physical, right?
Yes.
All right. So what's the difference between space and volume?
Volume is a calculated property of 3-dimensional space.
A calculated property. It's the 3 dimensions together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference if one is 3D physical, you know, the quantification of the 3D physical area? What's the other one?
You're conflating them when they're not the same. You're.
That's what I'm asking you. What's the difference? What's the difference?
I'm saying one is a property of the other. So you can't have one without. You can't have space without volume.
Okay, so give us the definitions for each one.
Volume, calculated property of a 3-dimensional area.
Okay, and space?
Space is a 3-dimensional construct that we live in and move through with the 4th dimension of time.
So space is the 3 dimensions. Volume is the calculation of the 3 dimensions. Yeah. How do you calculate space then? How do you quantify space?
You calculate its volume. You don't calculate space.
But it's a 3 dimensions, right? Can't you just multiply the 3 dimensions together?
Do you know its length, width, and height?
Yeah, you could.
Alright, well then there you go. You have your answer.
So what's the difference between space and volume then? If you have the length, width, and height. Height.
If you know the length, width, and height of space, then they are equivalent. The space equals the volume.
So space is volume. Thank you.
Only if you know the entirety of space.
No, we're not talking about the entirety. We're talking about a specific area. We didn't say all of the space in the universe. Stop trying to switch move the goalposts. We're talking about space, period.
Specific area of space, and you're not talking about space. You're talking about.
Well, by that logic, we could be talking about the entire volume of the universe. Doesn't make a difference.
Yes, it does. Because
How?
when I
Okay,
say,
fine. Let's say we're talking about the entire universe now. When we have the entire universe, what's the difference between the entire volume and the entire space of the universe?
Jesus Christ, listen, when you make the logical leap that space equals volume, when I said that they would be equivalent, I'm talking about the entirety of space, which we do not know the length, width, and height of. But when you say,
hold up. The entirety, so your argument hinges on the fact that space is expanding, right?
You didn't hear a word I said.
You said because we don't know the dimensions of space because it's changing, it's expanding. We don't have the quantification of it. Whereas with volume we do have a quantification, right?
I did not say that at all.
What are you saying then?
I said we do not know the length, width, and height of space. Period.
Okay.
But we can calculate objects in space, and if they are 3-dimensional, they can be calculated with a volume.
Yeah, and space is volume if we have specific height, length, and width, right?
Space has a volume, yes, and that volume is calculable within the boundaries.
Space is volume because they're both 3 dimensions, right?
No, you're not. You're not making an equivalent.
You just said space is 3 dimensions plus time, which is the 4th dimension.
The property of space is that it has volume.
Okay, what's the other properties of space, if not the 3 dimensions of volume?
The 3 dimensions make up the ability to calculate its volume, but we don't know what the length, width, and height of space is, so you can't calculate space.
No, we're talking about a specific section again. A specific section.
Specific section, then you're not talking about all of space, you're talking about...
We didn't say all, okay? We can talk about all in a second, but right now we're just trying to get the difference between space and volume. So far you haven't shown what the difference is. You actually said that they're the same thing with a specific area. Okay, so if you're not going to defend that, let's move forward to the entirety of it.
I'm not defending repeating your misunderstanding of what space is.
No, I think you're just really bad at trying to make a point that you're wrong about.
What is... Okay, here, we'll make it simple. Space, in its entirety, is not calculable. Therefore, its volume is not calculable. But segments of space that can either be bounded by a surface and then called a shape can be measured with volume.
Okay, so you're basically saying volume and space are the same thing. If we don't have the dimensions, we can't calculate the space or volume.
Your misunderstanding of my position.
No, literally, you're saying if we don't have the dimensions, so like the entirety of space, we don't have the volume either, because we don't have the dimensions to figure out the volume, right? So basically they're the same.
No.
What's the difference?
Again, a property of space is that it can have a calculated volume. You can take any part of space.
That's not true, because you could have uncalculated space, right? You just said with the entire universe, you can't calculate it.
How about you listen instead of just listening to respond? Because you're wrong here, and you don't know why you're wrong because you keep interrupting me halfway through what I'm saying.
I know you're wrong. Continue.
You can take any measurement in space, any amount that you want. You can take any amount of space and calculate its volume. It's that simple, because the volume is a property of 3 dimensions, and space is 3 dimensions.
I understand, but when you take any specific area of space and calculate its volume, you're also calculating the space within the entirety of space, right? That space of that little area, correct? Okay, so far you've shown that the word space and volume is interchangeable.
No.
Yes.
What makes
so far you haven't shown any difference between the two.
One is a calculation.
They're both 3 dimensions.
But one is a calculation. Say it with me. One is a calculation.
Yeah, one is the volume, which is the 3 dimensions. The other one is the space, which is the 3 dimensions.
One is a calculation. And when you say one is a calculation,